It stinks because everything else is higher, and they don't give a damn about people anymore. And nobody's gonna tell me that they're not making money, because they are making money, because of us, we're still supporting them.
All $5 for gas is outrageous. Just can't pay it. I'd rather stay on my bike.
Paying it's not worth it. Triple than what I used to pay.
I'm gonna have to work more than 40 hours to afford this.
By now, this is pretty much everybody's sentiment about gas, okay? At gas, everybody's feeling it at the pump. Everybody's feeling it. We don't even need to drive that part home, right? But we need to know how we got here. We do. And what exactly is happening right now to help us, okay? So I want to remind everybody about Joe Biden's campaign promise.
No more drilling on federal lands, no more drilling, including offshore, no ability for the oil industry to continue to drill, period.
Would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated. I guarantee you, we're going to end fossil fuel.
What about, say, stopping fracking and stopping pipeline infrastructure and
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
No new fracking. We are going to get rid of fossil fuels. Have a transition from the oil industry, yes.
And then what happened? In February, Russia invaded Ukraine. And that invasion gave this administration all they needed to blame everything on Vladimir Putin.
Today's inflation report confirmed what Americans already know. Putin's price hike is hitting America hard. Gas prices at the pump.
You almost ask yourself, like, what is it that Vladimir Putin can do from Russia that's causing all of this gas price hike and all these price hikes? So now it almost feels like they're telling you that Vladimir Putin is running this country, okay? See, that doesn't stick too long. After a while, people are like, you know what? We don't believe you. Okay, like we don't believe you. Okay, so he had to go off and blame somebody else, right?
The oil companies and executives, they don't want to pump more oil, although they have every capacity to do so. Nothing is slowing them up from doing it if they want to. Why? Rather than spend the profits in the increased price of gasoline, they would rather take those profits and buy back stock, buy back their own stock, rather than take that money and invest it in pumping new oil. Not a joke. So don't tell me gas prices rose because I've slowed down the American energy production.
You have to, when these people talk, they speak in terms, geographical terms, okay? So first of all, he's saying that they have every way to drill oil. You know, he's giving them permits, basically, he's saying. But we've discussed before on this channel, those permits, sometimes they're on land that does not have oil. They know, it's like giving a permit to my front yard right now. There's no oil under there. They know that, you know, that's a lot of what's going on. And that's what these oil companies are saying. And you ever heard of an oil company that doesn't want to drill more and make more money? No, you haven't. But Joe Biden is right about one thing. A lot of people do say, including myself, that he's lowered our supply, which he has at home, but he's ramped up drilling. Last week, we heard that Joe Biden was pulling from our crisis oil, our reserves, and he's emptying it out every day. 1 million barrels of oil is being emptied out. And you would think that would bring down your prices to at least somewhere down like $3.75 a gallon at the very least. Okay. But no, the average price is still $4.68 a barrel, a gallon of gas. Okay. But not only is he taking it out, he's also sharing it with other countries and selling it to China. While he's taking our supreme good oil and sending it overseas, he's putting corn in your oil and your gas prices are going up. Now, his explanation is that this should help the American economy. And it would, you see, if we were taking care of home. But again, we're still depreciating our supply and sending it over. But it's not just that. What would be considered American supply of oil, wherever they're getting it from, is being exported as well. And it is those exports, it's that movement of oil from home to other countries in the name of what they'll say is for Vladimir Putin's war with Ukraine. But they were already doing this before the war started, because your gas prices were already going up before the war started. Okay. They'll say it's because of that, but they're making money off of it. And we are the largest exporter of oil. I need you to know that. We're the largest exporter of oil.
So, Ed, why did you end up shifting your expectations, your forecasts higher, if you still hold to that conviction that we might not see the driving season that a lot of people are saying we will?
Well, we drove prices higher, first of all, to market. We had second quarter results that are marking it to market higher than where we were at. And we try to figure out what was really happening. What was really happening was that companies and countries were forswearing Russian crude. They could find no substitute for it. So they had to bid up the availability of light, sweet crude in the world that is not the same as Urals. They bid it up from the country that has the most amount of this, namely the U.S. with our open borders. And the fact of the matter is that U.S. exports have been booming. Our combined exports of crude oil and petroleum products in recent weeks have been at the 10.5 million barrel a day range. That would make the U.S. the largest liquids provider in the world, bigger than Russia, bigger than Saudi Arabia. That's up by a couple of million barrels a day from where we were. So when companies had to look away from Russia for diesel, where did they go? They went to the U.S. When companies had to look for crude oil, where did they go? They came to the U.S. And our inventories came down, giving a misleading impression that the whole world was going down in the inventory side the same way the U.S. is.
Just quickly, and I've only got a minute, and this deserves a much longer conversation, of course. How sustainable do you think that is politically? Because I don't think those numbers are that well known outside of conversations like this one.
Well, I agree with you. If it became political, people would start talking about stopping the exports, just as they talked about stopping the exports of natural gas. But it could be politicized in a way that it would be in an election year, gasoline prices being as important as they are.
So you heard that, right? While you're struggling to pay for gas at the pump, America is the largest liquids export, okay? Because we had to give up, other countries, quote, had to give up Russian oil. So where did they go? They had to get it from us, from America, which really should make our economy boost, right? But don't forget, you can't have your oil. You can't have oil. You can't have gas. You can't have it because we're going to combat climate change here, but we're going to send the fossil fuels somewhere else, right? That's what they told us. We're going to have to sacrifice for the cause, for whatever cause they throw at us. And then while that's happening, then they lie to you and they blame everybody else. But the fact is, America has created the establishment in America has created this illusion of a gas oil supply and demand issue with all this exporting, but the demand is actually lower than normally is because the gas prices are so high. But you will see the barrel of oil, it will continue to rise. It will continue to rise. You see what they asked him in the end, is this going to be like a political issue? And he said, yeah, the guy said, a lot of people don't talk about these numbers. We don't. I didn't know a lot of this until I went looking for another question. I had a different question and I ran into this. If you go and you complain about this, Mr. and Mrs. America, they're going to tell you that you're wrong for feeling this way.
And one of the ways we can do it is to have an export ban. Here's what I want to understand. Why are we sending more oil to other countries when we have a problem here with supply? We never used to do that before 2015. We could have that ban now, and it would dramatically lower gas prices.
We could have that ban right now, but it would really put the screws to our friends and allies in Europe who are dealing with some big problems caused by Vladimir Putin in Russia, and I don't think we want to do that.
You heard her. We could have that ban, but it would really put the screws to our allies in Europe and because they're dealing with Vladimir Putin in Russia. So while you're picking up more hours to put gas in your tank, says that we got to fight Russia. She says, we could help you, but we need to help Europe first. This export ban that he's asking about is not a foreign thought. It is not some made up thing. We had an export ban for 40 years and Barack Obama removed the ban in 2015. The next time you see Joe Biden blame whoever else he's going to blame, remember, he is not only going into your crisis oil, taking it out and sending it overseas, he's also not letting you keep whatever is being bought in. He's selling that overseas too. We have to combat climate change here, but everybody else can have fossil fuels. We have to beat Vladimir Putin here as a patriot to save the world, but everybody else can have fossil fuels. You guys, if you have not subscribed yet to this channel, please do so. We're gonna dive into all of this information. You heard what, the guy said, a lot of people don't have these conversations. They don't. Who has time to do this? Who has time? You know how long it took me to even come up with all of this? And I'm not done yet. I'm not. Who has time to, all right, let me look this. I had one question and it turned into all this. And I was looking for something else and I ran into all of this. They know you don't have time to find out all this, all of this information, all of these numbers, figuring out the oil industry. Who has time? But I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. Because you need to focus on what you got to do for your family and getting through the day or for yourself or whatever. So this is my mission, to bring the truth, as inconvenient as it is, but the informed knowledge so that we don't make certain mistakes again, so that we know better. Because when you do better, when you know better, you do better. It's just that simple. I'll do the research, and I'm doing the research, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you at the next video. Bye.